Hey guys, Kevin Shaw here, Editor-in-Chief of Mopar Connection Magazine. Glad you guys are tuning in today. We have something really special for you. We got Jim Hannon here, and we are going to go over some engine blocks. We're going to play with blocks today, but it's going to be a little different because we got our hands on something really special, and that is the all-aluminum Bill Mitchell Products 572 Hemi block. And today we're going to show you all the details and all the really cool changes and modifications that Bill Mitchell put into designing this aluminum block, and compare it to the Muscle Motors block that we've got, and then compare it to this factory wedge block that shares a lot of the bottom end. Obviously it's not identical, so don't get mad at us, but we're going to make a few comparisons. We're going to go over some of the really neat innovations that are in this, and really what justifies the $6,000 plus price tag on this engine block for you guys who are looking to go Hemi, and for you guys who are looking at making some big power. I would say Hellcat power, Demon power.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go with something like this, you really want to make some good power with it. But when it comes to making big power, first, you want something that's repairable, because big power engines go kaboom. And aluminum is a lot easier to fix than cast iron. Number two, you guys might be fans of Finnegan's Garage. This is the engine block that Mike Finnegan was running in Blasphemy for quite a few years. And he was able to get his best times out of this block. He is able to get some of his best performance out of this block. And that has been a really big seller for the BMP aluminum block. These blocks are really interesting because there's a bit of a story involved with the Bill Mitchell design. First was that not much of this design has changed from the cast iron block that Mopar was paying Bill Mitchell Sr. in making during the late 90s, early 2000s. And that is very noticeable with the freeze plugs in the front of the block. A lot of purists got upset with it, but it actually made for a better design. When Bill Mitchell Sr. sold World Products and Bill Mitchell Jr. went down to Florida, he was allowed by licensing to just take his design almost exactly as is and go aluminum with it. These engine blocks are cast out of Ireland, which is really kind of cool, and they're brought over to the States for machining. Now, he's doing a lot more than just Hemis. He's doing big block Chevy, small block Chevy, big block Ford, small block Ford, LS. He's doing all these different motors, and he has contracted out a lot of different machine shops to handle the different assignments, the different blocks. The Hemis, I believe, are done out of South Carolina. I might be wrong on that one. But all of them are machined to Bill Mitchell's specifications, and they are done here in the States, which is really cool. So cast in Ireland, shipped over to the States, machined in the States, sold out of Florida through Bill Mitchell Products. And Bill Mitchell Products has been a supporter of Mopar Connection Magazine for quite a few years. We're really stoked to be working with Bill Mitchell, and we got to go down and check out his shop and pick up this block. Hey guys, I just want to take a quick minute to let you know that we've got the Mopar Connection store up and running, where you can find all sorts of t-shirts and hoodies in a ton of colors and different sizes. We've even got designs for some of our project cars like Zombie and the Brazen Charger. So make sure to check out the link in the video description below. So each of the Bill Mitchell blocks are cast out of 357 T6 aluminum. That cuts the weight radically down by a couple hundred pounds. Just in mounting this engine block onto the stand versus our iron block, it was very, very obvious that this is a lightweight little guy. This puts us down in LS territory. I always make the joke that a fully dressed iron-headed 426 Hemi was 812 pounds from the factory, and an all aluminum Hemi with aluminum heads, aluminum manifold, and an aluminum block puts you, I believe the number was around 530. So you're almost 300 pounds less. And that is a significant weight loss off the front of your car, or off of your Harbor Freight engine stand like we've got here.
Yep.
One of the neat things about this design and the universality of this design is that the 426 Hemi block can be machined to accept all 426 Hemi components: heads, manifold, headers, timing chain cover, water pump, you name it, all the factory components. It can also be machined to accept all wedge components. So if you weren't in the market for a big Hemi but wanted to make a big monster,
super lightweight big block,
super lightweight wedge big block, it can take all those things too, which is really, really cool. Some of the flexibility in this design is that from the website you can order it for 4 1/4. Comes in a little bit less. Instead of 4 1/4, it comes in at 4.240 or a 4 1/2 inch, and that is actually a 4.490 bore. And of course you have replaceable ductile iron sleeves, so you can press out these sleeves, you can replace them anytime. That's also something really cool that aluminum gives you over steel. So you don't have to go 60 over, you can just press out the sleeves, put in fresh sleeves, and now you're 0 or 30 over, and you can start over again.
If you have something come apart and score one up, you can just change the liner.
Exactly. Yeah, so God forbid something goes bad,
right,
you can repair this super fast.
So much easier than trying to sleeve a cast engine.
Oh yeah, big difference. So you have some versatility in repairing it, you have versatility in your size, you have versatility in Hemi versus wedge. Not only do you have versatility in repairing it, you have versatility in building it out, bore and stroke, and whether you want Hemi or you want wedge. But one of the other things that Bill mentioned was that this block can be adapted to take a 4 3/4 stroke. That's a 4.750. You do need to take a little bit of clearancing inside. If you choose to go 4 3/4, you're now in the 600-inch range, which is ginormous. That's a lot of stroke, that's a lot of bore, and that is swinging a big crank.
Big part swinging.
Yeah, that's something else. So if you are into cubic inches, this block will let you do it more than anything else that I've ever put my hands on. For you guys looking to make big power, this block can accommodate a 60mm camshaft. Something also really unique, depending on if you're running a torque flight, a manual, or even a power glide, is that there is a dual pattern bell housing pattern on the back. So that you can, even if you want to run a GM trans, it'll take that. There's a few things that are just really unique to that design for a guy who's looking to make a street application or a full-blown race application. They really are accommodating for that. Then you are also looking at bronze lifter bushings that are machined for a 904 lifter, and that your lifter valley, you have a lot of clearance and you have a lot of room so that you can really get the optimal angle for your lifter and for your push rod. Other things to note is that of the 5 billet steel main caps, the 1 through 4 main caps are cross bolted, and those are all fitted with ARP hardware. So you're getting the best hardware in the market, and you're getting some really stout main caps. You're not gonna push this crank out of this block. The last thing about the main caps is that all of the main caps are located by ring dowels and stock registers. So they are not going to walk. They are going to have a perfect fitment on there. Again, if you want to use a stock crank or a high performance big stroke aftermarket crank like a Cali's 4 1/2 inch, it's going to accommodate that as well. Lastly, one of the things is you'll notice that all the freeze plugs are screw-in freeze plugs. In fact, we were joking, they're not really freeze plugs, but they're really more of a core plug. Because they're not going to pop out. They are really well machined, and he gives you all the hardware. We have all of these anodized and O-ringed freeze plugs, as well as all of the internal freeze plugs and other plugs and hardware that he gives you everything for it. These are really impressive. And the zero leak gold plugs that go in, and then you have all, and those are the externals. The internals are going to be these that are also all Allen headed, and they are all O-ringed as well. Obviously we have a wedge block here. Wedge blocks, the main caps were not cross bolted. On the factory iron Hemi blocks, only the number 2, 3, and 4 main caps were cross bolted. You did not have a number 1 cross bolted main cap. That was just to maintain a little bit of rigidity, a little bit of structure, tie everything together, tying this long skirt into the main caps. With the aluminum Bill Mitchell block, you get the number 1 main cap that's also cross drilled. We do have that on the Muscle Motors block. You'll see the number 1 main cap as well as 1 through 4. You just can't get a cross bolted main cap on a number 5. It's just too tough to do it. Other differences, of course, is on the Bill Mitchell block you have priority main cap oiling, big oil journals, big oil passages that are prioritizing where the oil goes first. It's going to the mains first. That was not the case on the iron blocks from the factory. There was modifications that needed to be made, and I think most guys in the mid-60s, they were just putting in different springs and just putting high pressure oil pumps in, so that while they couldn't prioritize where the oil was going, they were just spraying the heck out of it with a high pressure pump. So the nice thing is with technology, with the later model designs, they're able to prioritize where the oil goes first, and then the rest of the engine gets it. This one can accommodate an internal pickup, but because we are going with a 4.5-inch stroke crank, we are going to be using external on this block. Obviously, we have screw-in freeze plugs versus the hammer-in, press-in plugs. They're going to pop out if, you know, heaven forbid we have something go wrong. These guys are going to hold its coolant for as long as humanly possible, unless something really catastrophic happens and you crack the block.
Yeah.
Thankfully, getting into iron versus aluminum, you can weld aluminum. Aluminum is repairable. Thankfully, the pattern is on file so that if there is a catastrophic failure, you can have this welded up, sent back to a Bill Mitchell certified repair shop. They'll give them the machine pattern, and they can fix that, and they can machine everything, and you'll be square, you'll be good. And again, like we mentioned, if you have a ring failure, you can press out one of the sleeves or all the sleeves and make a quick repair on that. Thankfully, aluminum wicks heat a lot better, and modern aluminum does not grow and stretch like old aluminum does. These high density aluminum cores are coming in, and they're simply a less porous, higher quality casting, so it can dissipate heat. You're not getting a lot of the growth and stretch that you would out of an older aluminum casting. So that's really good news, and that is another thing that makes it superior even over our aftermarket iron block, is heat dissipation. Thank you. And that is something that is also a benefit. One thing that we really liked was he asked us when we ordered the block whether we were going to be running Hemi motor mounts or wedge motor mounts. They can do either. That's something also flexible with the iron block.
Yep.
But that's something that we wanted. You know, he's like, hey, you're going to run a motor plate? I'll take them all off. Or if you want to run the Hemi motor mounts, or if you want to run the wedge motor mounts, just let me know, and I can accommodate that. And that's something really cool that allows a lot of people who don't have a Hemi K-frame,
Right.
they can just use their wedge motor mounts, and they're in like Flynn. Okay, so obviously, I think the elephant in the room is price. And a lot of you guys, and I was like this forever, were basically having a Hemi was a dream that was just not really achievable just because of the price. And it's understandable. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that it's like, well, you got to pay to play. When it comes to the BMP block, they have it listed at an MSRP of $6,595, so about $6,600. Now, if you look at Cali's is about $1,000 less for an iron block. All right, $5,600.
Yep.
And if you can find an old Muscle Motors block, you know, you're paying about the same. It's an iron block. But if you are looking at just any 426 Hemi block, I haven't found Hemi blocks, I mean factory Hemi blocks, for less than $3,500 in good shape.
Yeah.
And most of them are 60 over.
Right, they're already, you gotta sleep.
They're hurt.
Yeah.
You know, they've been hurt, or they've been underneath some guy's workbench, and they're going to need some work. And then you got the numbers matching crowd, and the numbers matching crowd gets all upset if you're going to put a 68 block and a 70 or what have you. So you're kind of up the creek. Now, for guys like you and me who are like, hey man, I want to make power, and I want to sit there and haze the tires, $1,000 difference of, well, that's $1,000 of insurance, because I'd rather repair it.
Yep.
And I'd rather know that, hey, listen, I've cut the weight out of the car. That's 200 pounds is 200 pounds. Let's be real honest.
20 horsepower, or 2/10.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of.
2/10 in the quarter. There you go.
Give or take, yeah.
So I tend to really gravitate towards this. Again, you know, money's money, guys, and for the guys who are looking at making performance, the guys who want to shave some weight out of their car and really gain that 2/10, this is the way to go. I mean, I can play with these all day long, and I can have a lot of fun and make great power at 500 horse, 600 horse. But once I start getting into the 700s,
Start working on that limitation process.
right,
There you
right. It's like, hey, I want to run a big crank, or I need better oiling, or, you know, this engine's running too stinking hot. What do I do?
How much stress can this, 55-year-old block take?
For you guys who are considering really big power, for you guys who are considering maybe a modern 3rd gen Hemi swap, and you're really on the fence because it's like, oh, I really want to keep it classic, but I really want the power, I kind of say this is the ticket for you.
Yep. Although the new Hemis, they scream, but they just don't look like this.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I don't want to take from the 3rd gen swap.
They're amazing, screaming.
Right.
Engines. Holy cow! But yeah, this looks more at home in an old car.
Right.
Having that big,
Oh.
wide heads on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggle with that one, and it's kind of a spiritual decision of what do you really want your car to look like.
A resto mod, that'd be pretty cool with a new Hemi. But
Sure.
if you're trying to give it that, you open the hood and you want it to look like it did, but better.
Right. But I mean, in my head, do I want to buy a Redeye, and that's 808 horse, or do I get the block? Do I get a set of Stage 5 or Indy or Edelbrock heads and put fuel injection on it? I'm gonna be into that. I'm gonna be into either engine for close to 20.
Right. Right.
So it's like, shoot, which one do you want?
Yeah.
You want the supercharger whine, or do you want giant valve covers? And
It's the sound of a big block Mopar. They got their own sound.
I know, that's true. So guys, if you're interested, this might be just some engine porn for a lot of you guys just to look at, and I understand, I'd probably feel the same way. Go check out BMP, go check out Bill Mitchell Products, go look at what they got. There's a little bit of a waiting list. Sometimes it's a short couple months, sometimes it's 4 or 5 months. It just depends on when you get your order in. You'll have to call Bill and see what he says. When I was there, he had three of these blocks sitting there, but that was a rare.
Well, yeah.
That was a rare one.
And they're really good people there too.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic. He and his wife run it. It's a real family operation. They're on top of all their customers, and they make sure that everyone has got what they need when they're asking for it. We're really grateful to Bill for their support of Mopar Connection Magazine, and really, if you are looking at making some big power in your classic, this is really the route to go, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. I couldn't see not. It's just good as
big power, lightweight, all the benefit.
Got the nostalgic look.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. Well, guys, thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, maybe leave a comment. Please share it with your friends, help us grow the channel. And if you want more awesome Mopar content, please go check us out at www.Mopar Connection Magazine, where new articles are written every single day, Monday through Friday, entirely subscription free to you. There's no passwords, there's no downloads. As long as you got a phone with a Wi-Fi signal, you can read the magazine. So guys, thanks again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the magazine.